Hey guys, this is Sean with Integrity Ranch. Just got the goats and sheep moved here into a new paddock. This will be the last stockpiled paddock they have. This hasn't been grazed since early September. But we grazed it pretty heavy then, and we were so darn dry that not much grew up. There's a little grass out here, a little more's grown since we've got some warm weather this spring. So right now we're about exactly a month away from lambing and kidding, a little less. So right now is the time, guys, start thinking about where you want to be when you're dropping your lambs and your kids. You know, I want to be out in a pasture. I don't want to be back in the brush and the trees where I can't look at stuff. You get them out in a pasture, give them a little bit of woods for some cover if it's raining or something maybe, but makes it a lot easier if you can see what's going on. I don't want to get in there and mess with anything, but I like to be able to observe from a distance. And so I'm starting to plan on, where I want to be when we start to drop these lambs and kids, and get your plan set up so that you're there, because you can't just move around from paddock to paddock. You got to give your paddocks a break for parasites. You got to go 40 days, 45 days to let those parasites die, because the last thing you want to do is be dropping kids and lambs and then go into a paddock that's only got 25 days rest. Well, 25 days rest in the spring, that gives the grass a good chance to grow, but the parasites aren't dead. And they just dropped lambs and kids, and they're super vulnerable to pick up parasites right then. They're kind of at a weak spot. The babies are definitely at a weak spot. So it is not a good time to be going back onto pasture that hasn't had a long enough break. So plan it out. Start giving those pastures. I mean, you should have been off about 2 weeks ago. The pastures that you want to be lambing and kidding in, you need to be getting off them. Like I said, you're really a little bit late, but give you something to think about at least. So this pasture it's really a lone pasture. There's a pond that kind of separates it from all the other ones. So we won't be back to here until the lambs and kids are pretty old. We're actually on the north side of the river, the creek that turns into a river if you get some rain. So we want to be on the south side, because that's where the majority of our pasture and land is. So we're finishing up our last paddock on the north side. We'll get them across the river here, and then they'll go back into the back 40, which is just solid trees. Right now the trees are all budding out, and there's actually a lot of feed in there. The multiflora rows are really putting their lease out, and so they'll be in here about a week. We'll get them across the river. Then they'll go back there for a back 40 will last about 2 weeks, and then we'll, you can have babies a little bit early. So we'll go ahead and we'll put them out into our first field, and then that gives us, about a month worth of time of staying in, a lot of civil pasture type areas, but nothing just dense wood where, some goat's gonna have a baby and hide it under a log and you miss it or something if you're moving them, and just makes it a lot easier. So, man, feels good to get spring growth going. These guys are just tickled to be off of hay. So anyway, set yourself up so that you don't have to be crossing pastures that don't have a long enough break. Spring really brings on the parasites. The pastures are wet, and it's just a pretty good pretty good climate for them when it's all wet, and yeah, can be pretty nasty. So everything's looking good. Made it through winter. I feel like doing really good. Got a couple that maybe lost more weight than you would like, but you know, it's kind of just how it goes sometimes, I guess. They weren't pampered at all, and so I bet they'll pick up. It's not like they're coals, they just got a little thinner than I'd like. But a lot of them look really good. So yeah, just thought I'd share a little bit with you guys. Thanks for watching. We're happy to have some grass, and the animals are happier to be eating it. So thanks for watching, guys.